The sun had not yet risen when Marcus opened his eyes. The room was dark, quiet, and still. He sat up slowly, feeling the cool air against his skin. For a moment he simply breathed. This was his time. The time before the world woke up, before demands and distractions began pulling him in every direction. Marcus was a student of Stoicism, and he had learned that how he began his day would shape the hours that followed. Today, like every day, he would follow his Stoic morning routine. The first step was simple but powerful. He did not reach for his phone. There were no notifications, no messages, no news to flood his mind with noise. Instead, Marcus placed his feet on the floor and took a slow, deep breath. He reminded himself of a quote from Epictetus. "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This was the foundation of his morning, setting his intention before action. He moved to the window and pulled back the curtain just enough to see the faint glow of dawn. The sky was still dark blue, but the first hints of light were there, promising a new day. Marcus stood there for a few minutes, watching, breathing, and reminding himself of the impermanence of all things. The Stoics called this Premeditatio malorum, the practice of imagining the worst that could happen so that nothing would catch him by surprise. But this morning, he did not dwell on fears. Instead, he focused on gratitude. He thought of his health, his family, the roof over his head. Seneca had written, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." Marcus let that truth settle into his bones. Next came movement. The body and mind were connected, and a sluggish body could lead to a sluggish mind. He stretched his arms overhead, rolled his shoulders, and bent forward to touch his toes. There was no rush, no hurry. This was not about exercise for the sake of appearance. It was about preparing himself for the day ahead. As he moved, he thought of another Stoic lesson. Obstacles could become opportunities if he chose to see them that way. A stiff muscle was not a problem. It was a reminder to care for his body. A difficult task at work would not be a burden but a chance to practice patience and discipline. After stretching, Marcus sat down with a notebook. Writing was his way of ordering his thoughts before the chaos of the day could scatter them. He wrote 3 things he was grateful for, just as the Stoics had practiced. Then he reminded himself of his virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. He asked himself, how could he live by these today? Maybe wisdom meant listening more than speaking in a meeting. Maybe courage meant having a difficult conversation he had been avoiding. The words on the page were not just ideas. They were promises to himself. Breakfast was simple: a piece of fruit, some bread, a cup of water. The Stoics ate to live, not live to eat. Food was fuel, not pleasure. As he ate, he read a passage from Seneca's letters. Today, it was about time. You are living as if destined to live forever. Your own frailty never occurs to you. You waste time as if you drew from a full and abundant supply, though all the while that day which you bestow on some person or thing is perhaps your last. The words were sharp, but they were also kind. A reminder that time was precious and he should not waste it. By now the sun had risen fully. The world outside was waking up. Birds singing, cars passing, people beginning their day. But Marcus had already built his foundation. He had set his mind right, moved his body, reflected on his purpose, and nourished himself with wisdom. The challenges of the day would come: traffic, deadlines, disagreements, but he was ready. He knew that Stoicism was not about avoiding hardship, but about meeting it with strength. As he stepped out the door, he carried one final thought with him. A line from Marcus Aurelius: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The day would unfold as it would, but no matter what happened, Marcus would choose his response. That was the heart of his Stoic morning routine: not control over the world, but mastery over himself. And so he began his day, not as a victim of circumstance, but as a student of life. The path of Stoicism was not always easy, but it was always worth it. One morning at a time, one choice at a time, He was building not just a routine, but a life of meaning. The sun was up now, and so was he, ready, steady, and unshaken.